Hi, I'm David from Grace Point Church, and welcome to March 4th. We are on week number 30. What would you say if I told you that I could tell you your future? All right, I can't really tell you your future. Only God can do that. But your future is written on the pages of the New Testament. You are called as God's people, as believers in Jesus Christ, rewarded from heaven greatly, acting as a child of the Most High, kind to the unthankful and wicked, compassionate, both forgiving and forgiven, giving and receiving, fully trained like your teacher, that would be Jesus, well built and standing firm. Those things are written about you as a child of God, believing in Jesus Christ. How can I say that? Well, let's take a look at some of the background here of what's on the pages of Luke 5 and 6. Jesus is collecting followers through miracles. He went fishing. The disciples cast out a net, pulled in so much fish that their boats almost sank, and the response was incredible. Later on, Jesus heals a paralyzed man. Chapter 6, verse 18 says, people from everywhere came to hear him and to be healed of their diseases, and those troubled by evil spirits were healed. Everyone tried to touch him because healing power went out from him, and he healed everyone. Then you also find a couple of verses where Jesus is going off and praying by himself. Also in the background, you find that Jesus has taken heat from the Pharisees, the religious leaders. They looked to see if he was going to heal somebody on the Sabbath day so that they could put their hands on him. They were making plans to hurt him. So into that background, we come into Luke chapter 6, and Jesus starts to talk to the disciples and the followers about what kind of conduct he expects out of them. Verse 37, it says, do not judge others, and you will not be judged. Don't condemn others, or it will all come back against you. And later on, many of us have heard this story. Verse 41 says, and why worry about a speck in your friend's eye when you have a log in your own? How can you think of saying, friend, let me help you and get rid of that speck in your eye when you can't see past the log in your own eye? Hypocrite. First, get rid of the log in your own eye, and then you'll see well enough to deal with the speck in your friend's eye. This scripture, a lot of times, is used as an excuse to not step out and help people at all. How are you going to dare to step out and try to help somebody who's got a speck in their eye when you've got a log in your own? If we're not careful, it basically says you're unqualified, you're unworthy, and how dare you even reach out to put your hands in someone else's life? Mind your own business. Jesus is not telling us not to bother helping. What he said in the previous 10 to 15 verses, and actually everything I've read up to this point, is take great care how you respond. That when you respond to people who are doing and saying things that you know shouldn't be done and said, that you respond in obedience to Christ. And when you respond in obedience to Christ, you will have a compassionate answer. You see, at the very end of chapter 6, Jesus says, I'll show you what it's like when someone comes to me and listens to my teaching and then follows it. It's like a person building a house who digs deep and lays the foundation on solid rock. When the floodwaters rise and break against it, that house will stand firm because it's well built. According to these passages, when we respond to people who curse us or hurt us or speak evil about us or exclude us or even slap us on the face or steal things from us, people who we would consider in the natural our enemies, listen to the heart of this in verse 35 in chapter 6. Love your enemies, do good to them, lend to them without expecting to be repaid. And then here's your future, and this is why I said it's your future. If you walk in obedience to Christ, then your reward from heaven will be very great, and you will be truly acting as the children of the Most High. For he is kind to those who are unthankful and wicked. You must be compassionate, just as your Father is compassionate. A little further down, he says, forgive others, and you will be forgiven. Give, and you will receive. Your gift will return to you in full, pressed down, shaken together, and running over to make room for more, and poured into your lap. The amount you give will determine the amount you get back. A little further down, verse 40 in chapter 6, he says, students are not greater than their teacher, but the student who is fully trained will become like the teacher. So in the beginning, when I was telling you about the future, I was telling you what was written in the pages of Scripture according to Jesus. Jesus basically promises if you do what he tells you to do, these things are going to come to pass in your life. Respond to people who do bad things to you in a way that honors Jesus Christ. And you'll find that all these things truly are your future. Brothers and sisters, I love you, and I'll talk to you Sunday.